Alright, and now it's the next episode. Way to go, Derek. Didn't even let us get a break because you have to branch into the next episode. And we always have our 5-minute breaks between each episode, every single one. And you just ruined it by being like, oh, let's just make this into a second episode.
Zinker, we only have a break when you have to poop.
Yeah, that's pretty much true, yeah. Well, no, that's not true. Also, when you crash, just that one is in the middle of an episode. By the way, I didn't mention it earlier, but when you crashed during the magic thing, I was like, that is the only time I've been glad he's crashed.
Yeah.
Anyhow, what was it? We were talking about straight pride. Shit. What do we? Well, great. Now we have to create a new sexuality, a new type of pride thing. We got gay pride. We have straight pride. Bi pride is just basically the same thing as gay pride. So is asexual pride. Why do you all not get like your own separate parade? I want to see the ace pride.
I mean, they all lump together as a group.
Yeah,
I would think. I don't know. I mean, I guess they could have subdivisions. They could go in different stages of the parade or something. I don't know.
I've never been to a gay pride parade. I should probably go once.
I don't think there are any around where I live. I live in a very
you live in the middle of the woods.
Area.
Be kind of weird if they had a parade going.
I know. Well,
through the woods.
Yeah, there's not. Okay, yeah, there's none here. But like,
a bunch of gay people walking through the woods. Sounds like the start of a really bad joke.
The town I went to school in. The town I went to school in. There's a couple of houses with Confederate flags that are like in windows.
Alright, Derek, I have a serious question for you. Do you think Bubsy is gay and or bi? Or you think he's straight?
I don't know.
There's no way he can be ace.
I have literally no evidence. I have literally no. Yeah. I have no evidence to suggest any of
With a voice like that, he's got to get something.
He's definitely getting something.
I feel like he has to be straight or bi, because I feel like he's probably liked girls in his past games. Now it's just a matter of whether he's
I don't know,
bi or not. I should send a hey, creators of Bubsy, are you watching us? If you are, is Bubsy straight or bi? Yeah, I really hope they respond. I guess we can't hear it in real time. It's a little disappointing.
You just gotta speak up.
You're right. My bad. Oh shit. Okay, so I can only boost once in the air. That's my main problem. All right. Here's your problem.
One qualm I do have, which I've encountered this a couple of times with people, is and I know we've talked about it briefly before too, is there's a lot of people who have an issue with the word trap because of historically what it has meant. It's also weird because like I know a lot of people who used to see it's a very recent thing, I feel like, because I know a lot of people who used to use that word to use the word trap to describe the anime archetype for what it generally is, that have stopped using it in like the last like year or so, because I'm assuming because people raised an issue with it, and while I get that there was like there's a historical reason why people have an issue with it, I don't really
it's got
get why.
A new meaning.
I feel like it's mostly people having an issue with it, people feeling like they're supposed to have an issue with it, not actually like, I don't know, I've never heard of anybody actually like having a problem with it. That like, I mostly see people use the word describing themselves, either describing themselves or a fake character.
We live in a world now where people do their best to try and get offended at everything and take everything personally. Actually, ironically, I was reading a fucking I was on Facebook, and I was scrolling the comment section because I guess I'm bored and I just want to yell at dumb people. And where else to go but a Facebook comic section of a bunch of other comic sections? But you know.
Well, our messenger chat, but
yeah, that too. But that was a dish on yourself, so I don't know what.
I don't get offended. I can offend myself.
I wasn't saying not to offend people.
Other people protect me.
This had something. This had something to do with like a fucking what is it? It had something to do with like child molesters. I think getting castrated, which is a whole nother thing. But whatever. Somebody said something about it being cruel and unusual and compared it to Alan Turing, and the way he worded it wasn't the best. So this person replied like, "Gay people aren't child molesters," and like that wasn't what he's saying. And we know this because he clarifies it in his reply to this person. That's not what he meant. It's just worded badly. But to me, it was like what that person's reaction isn't like a stretch. I'm not gonna quote it because I don't have it in front of me. But that person's reaction wasn't a stretch, but also it wasn't necessary. Like there was some assuming going on too. Like that could have been the implication of that, but of his comment. But it wasn't. It also could have not been, and it wasn't because he clarified a second. Like, no, that's not what I mean. I'm just mean that people did this to this guy named Alan Turing. They did castration as a punishment, and people just used it like as, you know, cruel and unusual punishment. I forgot what his point was. And this person, fucking like, is like, well, you're a fucking dick because that's what you said, and he's like. You know, he fucking clarified what he said. He's like, no, that's not what I meant. And then, he basically says the same thing again. It's like, well, your first thing was misleading, so that basically just makes you a hateful prick, and you know, you're a dick. And I'm just like, well, actually, it might have been a he. I don't fucking know if this person was a he or she, but because they didn't have a Facebook they didn't have like a picture profile pic. Anyway, I don't know if I'm really doing this justice because I can't really quote it. The point is though, this person like they clarified what they meant. They was like that wasn't the impression I was trying to go. This person was like, no, fuck you, you're a hateful prick that hates gay people. Even though that was he really said that's not what I was trying to say there. You know, nowadays people just find shit to get fucking upset about. It was quite like I was doing on that Facebook, going through Facebook comments in the first place, just so they can get all offended. The difference is mine's just to call people stupid. Sometimes I just need that. I've been dealing with a lot of angry customers, as is my friend at work.
And you can't call them stupid.
Can't call them stupid. You gotta find other people stupid. So I can call them fucking stupid. Another one, going back to that cigarette thread. Some guy, I was like, some guy like tagged me for this. He was real proud of this one. I was saying something about how like I was okay with it. There's been a ban in Beverly Hills from selling it or something. And a lot of people complain like, oh, it's a kill of freedom. And I was like, great, because I don't fucking like. I don't want to smell cigarette smoke. I don't want to inhale cigarette smoke. And this guy posted this response. It's like, well then don't fucking do it, dickhead. And I'm like, all I told him was, all right, just reread my comment and then reread your comment and just let me know if you think I smoke or not. If you're gonna throw insults out, don't be a fucking dumbass. That was all I basically said to him. He was so proud of it. Like he thought. Then his next response is just bite me, which is basically the equivalent of, hey, I don't fucking know what I don't know anything, you know. I don't have any argument. Actually, fun
it's
fact.
Basically like, yeah, I have like.
That other person from the child molesting gay one, they said nah, and I was just like, yeah, it's basically spit. I was right. Bye. That was it. Then they tried responding nah again. Then they threw another argument out or something. I don't remember. It's 4 a.m. or something.
Nice.
Yeah. But that, you know, that's your non-action, Derek. Didn't do shit.
What I do want to at least get back to what I was saying before though, because I wasn't quite done with my
and you'll
whole
do
thing.
that in these next 4 minutes.
Yeah, I can do that. Anyways, Yeah, I see what you did there. By the way, I'm not dumb. I caught it.
Well,
I caught it through all the lag I have.
Don't count all your chickens before they're icing on the cake. That wasn't a good metaphor. Day's still young. Don't count all your...
Anyways,
Day's still young. The chickens are still young. Yeah, okay.
Don't count
them. The day still can be hatched.
Anyways,
don't count the day before it's hatched.
The thing I was getting at though with the word trap is
don't count the day before it's young.
I guess I have seen it.
Sorry.
I have seen it used in not great ways online, but for the most part, I also see a lot of people like myself use it describing themselves.
Oh, it's not a negative word anymore, unless you're using it to describe someone that's trans. That is, you know.
Yeah.
And they're not.
I know.
Oh, sorry. Wait.
I know
no, you're using it to describe someone who's trans, like a trans woman. Yeah, they're a woman. They're not a trans.
So
trap is a male cross-dresser, essentially.
So
anime male cross-dresser.
I feel like the word. You see, in my opinion, like the way I see it, the word trap to me always meant like feminine in appearance, but like a male who is feminine in appearance, but identifies as a male still. Like completely identifies as a male and like it's just like they just look feminine as well.
Dude, this is the stupidest stage right here. Like I actually fucking despise this shit.
On Instagram, I used to. I stopped doing it because it's not worth the trouble probably, but the trouble of it's not worth losing friends over, albeit that goes both ways. I stopped using the hashtag, but I used to use the hashtag trap cosplay on all my Astolfo pics because that's the word that is the word people use to describe him, and as the if you look up that hashtag, it's just like Astolfo cosplayers, well, and like a couple other anime characters, but mostly Astolfo. So I used it because there's nothing wrong with it. There's no malice intended. It's just being used as a descriptor.
The name of this episode.
And then someone.
Pride. Sorry, keep going.
Someone eventually, I knew this would happen eventually, and it was also partially just as a social experiment that I kept doing it. Because there was a period where I stopped doing it, and then there's a period where I started doing it again because I was like, well, I'm not gonna let other people like tell me I can't use this, or I'm not gonna not use this because someone might confront me on it. I stopped using it after someone confronted me on it. And mostly just because a couple people I know were like messaging me and being like, I don't like that word, like that word makes me uncomfortable. To which I was like, okay, but like you don't have my thought is the reason I'm using that word is I'm using it as a word to describe myself.
Yeah.
Something that the LGBTQ word. Community is usually very supportive of is you do you be you describe yourself however you want. I don't like being told I can't use the descriptors for myself that I would like to because it bothers someone else. It's literally it's incredibly hypocritical.
What the fuck
one
was
of my friends
that?
messaged me.
You see that fucking that was bullshit. That was literally dumb.
In the comments on when someone like brought it up to me, or like when there's someone who like commented on one of my posts, and I was like, wow, I can't believe that hashtag isn't banned, and I was like, it's just used like as a descriptor for this, and they were like, well, it's yes, but like but using it's kind of transphobic because like it's an anti because of how the word origin or the word's origin. And I was like, that's not why I'm using it. That's not how I'm using it.
To be transphobic, you actually have to hate trans people, or do stuff to hate trans people. It doesn't work like that. I don't like people that are like that.
words change in meaning, like word, or like the meaning behind words change. The word queer,
that word didn't
for
even
the longest
change
time,
actually. Well, it did, but
for the word okay, the word queer used to be used as a slur, and then gay people started using it for themselves, or to describe it as themselves as well. And then while it's still debated, I see a lot of people debate whether or not it should be or it's a, which is also kind of a dumb thing, but I see people debate a lot too whether or not it's a bad word or not, and like whether or not gay people should use it to describe themselves.
I haven't seen any debates on that.
It's a word that I don't think it like unless you're angrily yelling it at people, there's no real. It's just a descriptor. There's no malice behind it.
Yeah, people nowadays just look for anything to get upset over. It's mildly dumb. Yeah. Like, there are real things you could get upset. One of the articles I shared today, or maybe it was yesterday or 2 days ago, whatever, that was really fucked up. That is related to this straight pride thing, because this is where I saw someone commenting about the angry pride thing. This is bullshit. Was 2 lesbians in London were fucking beat up, like literally brutally beaten up by a set of 4 men.
I keep seeing stuff on the news for that.
The one
qualm I had with that article. I had one qualm with that article that you shared.
Let me at least explain it, man. Let me explain it. That way the people know. Let people know. They beat him up because they wouldn't kiss for him. Anyhow, continue on with what you were saying.
I read the article that you posted because I was curious to read more about it and to see what the article. I had one qualm with it that I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure if it's the case or not, but I saw a news story about the same thing the day before, yesterday, and in the story they said that the suspects were, the police had suspects, and that they were all teenagers, whereas this article said men, implying that they're older. I don't know which is the case or not, but which one is the case or not.
That could just be inaccuracy, because it was an early on article on the men thing. They could have described it as men because they were just described as men. They also, a teenager could be someone who's 18, and an 18-year-old teenager could very much look like an adult to someone. Yes. And it actually probably is considered adult in, I think, London.
Yes. That would be considered
an adult here, actually, technically speaking. But,
yes.
You know what I mean?
Regardless of which it is, it's still a very bad thing. It's still a very bad thing, but it does make a little bit of difference, at least in the interpretation of how everything went down.
Not to me. It's still the same thing. What's different?
It's still a thing, or whether, or I guess
just gonna have really long Bubsy episodes, I guess.
What I would say is different is what exactly it means, or this whole occurrence means for the overall nation. What exactly the nation's opinion is of the LGBT community. So what I mean by that is if it was teenagers. Teenagers are kind of an isolated case where I wouldn't if it was teenagers if teenagers committed a hate crime, I would think that's just a bunch of dumb kids who still deserve to be punished severely for their actions, but I wouldn't take that as
Derek, in the case of the teenagers, it's probably worse. Boomers are gonna die eventually. Which is blessing to some people, but they have old-fashioned views. If a fucking teenager beat them up, that means they have these views when they at this point shouldn't.
Yes, but they're more capable of changing their view. They're more capable of changing their views.
I guess, but right now their views are pretty fucking shitty. It doesn't matter if they're so are older people. Oh yeah, I guess what you mean, but the more it doesn't change anything though. I don't think that changed a single thing about that thing though.
Let me put it this way.
They can change. That doesn't matter.
Yes.
The problem here is there's still 4 people out there. It doesn't matter, men, women, doesn't matter who the fuck it was. 4 people like beat up these 2 women because they wouldn't kiss for them.
Yes. It's overall a bad thing. Okay, it's overall a bad thing no matter how you look at it, and that's not what I'm arguing. What I'm arguing is that I'm arguing more from a basis of like this, looking at the state of the nation. So if they're teenagers, if they're like 14 and 15, they are currently not voting.
Okay, they will be. So and they have these ideas.
They will be, yes. But they are currently not. But they're currently not voting. They're also probably not very well. They're also probably not very well educated on overall issues.
They do everything like backwards. They drive on the wrong side of the road, Derek.
So my point is though is like, as for in the as the current state of that nation, for like progressing towards like better treatment, or like what their current overall ideas and treatments are towards LGBTQ people, which I heard from the news, it's still not very good, regardless of this, or aside from this issue. But I wouldn't, if it's teenagers, I wouldn't.
What the fuck?
Take that I wouldn't take that to mean as much for the overall state of the nation as I would as if it was like adults doing it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but you're kind of, Derek, you're kind of alone in that
teenagers one. My thought process is teenagers don't exactly have the overall scope to realize what they just did.
No, I know what you mean by that.
To realize the severity of what they just did.
But
adults do.
So they learn that, hey, in the future they have to hide that. I don't think it changes anything about that behavior. Sort of deal.
Well, they don't learn that they have to hide. I'm just
that
Zinker, plenty of teenagers do dumb things.
Derek, that's more than a dumb thing.
I know 4 people.
That's like saying someone murdered someone. Like, oh, that was just a dumb thing of theirs. Don't make excuses for them.
It's not.
It's not.
I'm not making excuses for them.
Yeah,
I'm not
you're
saying.
right,
I'm not saying it diminishes Zinker. I'm not saying it diminishes what they did. They should still be severely punished. Punished as equally as though they were adults. What I'm saying is, it is an issue aside from that entirely, which is more. It's not an issue of the severity of what they did. It's more an issue of what exactly it means in the overall scope of what this means for this nation, that this happened within. That's what I'm arguing about. That's the only part that's the only reason that I think the only area I think it makes a difference.
I don't want this to get too political, but what my counter argument to that is just like, imagine I know there's a fucking teenage kid that did this. There was a shooting recently where this guy went and murdered just specifically black people. What's that? He was a teenager. And if they said he was a man, does that really change that story? It doesn't matter. Their age doesn't really factor in here. I understand it's like, well, they're stupider, that guy is stupider too.
Yeah, that's.
But what he did was a very adult thing. It doesn't. There's a certain point where you gotta like cut it off, and it's not just young stupidity. And they're teenagers too. So even if they are teenagers, to some extent, they should know better. Even if they're 13 or 14,
they should know.
Like,
yes,
I had this happen in my work.
Better. But I know a lot of teenagers who have done a lot of stupid things. Not nowhere near as severe, but they've done a lot of stupid things that they shouldn't have. And when you look back on them as an adult, you clearly can see, yeah, I just shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, but I don't think it matters. Well, neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. We'll just move on to the next time.
Whether or not they were teenagers or adults, they deserve to be punished severely for doing that. And I'm not trying to defend them. I just want to clarify. I am not trying to defend them in any way. My statement had nothing to do with how they should be treated for the severity, or how they should be treated for their crimes. They should be treated, regardless of what their age is. They should be treated. They should be punished very severely for the crimes that they committed. I'm just saying what that in a completely different area, noting whether or not they're adults or teenagers does make a difference.
I don't think it does.
Completely different area, though.
Not that much. It still shows an opinion. You know what? I'll add this as one last unexplored argument. Also, but I would like to apologize because I said something about that. Let's make you defend that right there. That was a... I don't know what the word to describe it is. That was a mistake explanation of it on my part during that argument. But you know, if the teenagers think that, most likely that was taught by an adult. So there's still an adult in the question that thinks that.
I do agree there.
So, you know, I don't think it matters in the scope. Teenagers, adults, it either shows a problem with people currently or with the youth. They're both equally bad problems. Next time on Speletons, happier topics. Maybe. Bye-bye.